ELI5. Why are football matches at home or as visitors treated like an advantage or disadvantage? Is there any way in which this fact could affect a match by itself? The night before a game you get to relax at home and sleep in your own bed. No traveling on a bus or plane. Eat your fav meal. You know the grass or turf and all its nuances. All of your equipment, staff, and backups are right there. The fans know and love you. So many advantages playing at home. At a home game, the team has the support of their most vocal fans, which is a big psychological help for them. It's also the place they know best. At least in South America, playing visitor can be a living hell, especially if it's a high-stakes game like a Clásico Derby or a Copa Libertadores, our third world Champions League match. It's not uncommon for the visitor team to be pelted with trash or rocks from the stands, having power or water shortages on their lockers, or having fans from the local teams making noise outside the hotel the night before the match. Refs tend to favor home teams when there are big audiences. This advantage was almost wiped out in COVID for sports that had empty stadiums. In NFL football, the home crowd tends to be loud while the visitor is about to snap on offense and quiet while the home team is. It makes the visiting team more likely to have a mistake-caused play calling, timing, or clarity. Also, as fields vary surface composition, whether the home team is more accustomed to peculiarities of their own environment than the visitor is likely to be. In hockey, the home team has last change before face-offs. The visitor has to commit which players are on the ice, then the home team can choose the optimal matchup for that. In baseball, the home team bats second each inning. I read a study years ago on the home field advantage. Its cause was identified as a tendency for referee calls to be in favor of home rather than visitors. The reasoning: refs want to be able to drive home without being bothered and therefore have an incentive to appease home team fans when making a tough call. For Seahawks American football team, Seattle, the year they won the Super Bowl, they also had the record for the loudest stadium. Meaning, when the away team was on offense and the offensive players have to listen to their quarterback, it becomes very difficult, resulting in mistakes. When the home team Seahawks were on offense, the stadium was a lot quieter. In international cricket, the home nation is responsible for the production and curation of the pitch, which often leads to pitches that heavily favor the home team. For example, Indian pitches are generally dustier with less grass, which favors spin bowlers, of which Indian batsmen are some of the best players in the world. Australian conditions generally favor pace bowling. The Australian pace attack is considered one of the best in the world. There's something comforting about being in familiar surroundings, surrounded by a bunch of people who are on your side. I can't speak for European football, but in the US I think they've found a lot of the home field advantage is actually from referees subconsciously making calls slightly favorable to the home side. Last time I did research into this, it found that statistically the home team got favorable referee calls, not by a lot, and that they don't think this is intentional. Home court means that the majority at the stadium will be your supporters. It's an advantage because you will hear them cheer you more than the other team, and it's moral boosting. Meanwhile, it has the opposite effect on the visitors. My professor made me write a paper on this last semester. What I found interesting was that despite the fact refereeing has become less biased, with things like instant replay, more people believe that refs are more biased today compared to back in the day. You ever tried playing video games on another person's setup? In football or soccer, in addition to the psychological aspects, there are two other things. 1. Size of the pitch can vary. 2. Grass height can vary. Both those things can vary greatly how a team plays. For example, teams who play lots of ground passes, usually the top teams as they're got better technical skills, will usually prefer shorter blades of grass due to the ball being able to move quicker. One reason. In American football, the Buffalo Bills playing at home in January have a massive advantage over the Miami Dolphins, whose home stadium is 80 degrees Fahrenheit in January. Is this a real question? Even someone who has never seen a sport ever could deduce that sleeping at home and not having to travel is just one of the advantages of playing at home. Imagine you were to take your computer to a super unfamiliar place. And after the travel time, and in this strange place, you need to be equally productive. Think it would be the same as the comfort of your own home? Another big factor is the potential for dark arts. The home team decides when the pitch gets watered, how long the grass is, how broken up the soil is. They can absolutely use this to gain an upper hand by setting up pitch conditions to nullify some of their opponent's strengths. It is not unusual in some stadiums in England that the home fans are labeled the 12th man by commentators. Also, in terms of football statistics, home advantage is generally considered to be about 0.6 of a goal to the home team. I've always wondered and been baffled by it myself. But we have proof. During coronavirus lockdown, the Premier League in England carried on playing with nobody in the stands. Record numbers of away wins. The home fans are having a huge influence. Something else I can't see has been mentioned yet: football soccer pitches aren't all the same size. While Premier League pitches are mostly 115 by 74 yards, it is up to the team to decide their own sizes within set limits, so there are a few exceptions. Presumably this can disorient people used to playing on a different sized pitch. Just look at Olympics medal counts. Hosting country gets more gold than usual and more medals than usual. I went to a game once where the DJ would play victory music whenever the home team scored. They would play uplifting music whenever they served. When the visitors scored, dead silence except for one or two fans cheering them on. It was soul-crushing to watch. They played a great game but lost with a very big margin. When the entire room wants you to lose, up to and including the DJ and announcer, good luck overcoming that. In football soccer, the rules given freedom over the width of the pitch and the length of grass. The home team can therefore set these to their style of play. Home court advantage is a real thing across most sports. You are playing on the same field court that you train on. You are used to the weather, humidity, elevation. You can sleep at home on your own bed, eat your own food and stick to your own schedule before the game versus being in a random city in a hotel room. You didn't have to take a long flight to get here. The fans in the stadium are all on your side. It is a huge physical and psychological boost. In baseball, where the fields are not all uniform outside of the diamond infield with the bases, it absolutely can make a difference. I vaguely remember there being one MLB field where the far outfield would suddenly be on an incline and would throw off unsuspecting players. The home team would absolutely have an advantage with that.